Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the November 2024 update to the best tier list. In my opinion, I've been saying that for a while. In MCoC YouTube, you can see we're on our 47th edition, and this is not including the Junes and the December where we do all the top 10s. And yes, those will be coming for you. Now, we've just finished Cyber Weekend. I just finished the stream, doing that big opening, that whole thing, and I want to get this out for you. And yes, we are going to include Dazzler. We'll talk about her when we get to Mutant. The usual preamble is make sure you rank the champions you enjoy, right? You've got to know how to play them, and you're going to know how to play them if you enjoy playing them. You're going to produce significantly better results than if you don't. This spreadsheet is linked in the description. Make your own copy, right? People are starting to catch on, which is great, right? But you can, if you don't like Battlegrounds, you can remove the Battlegrounds rankings from the whole thing, and the list will change. So you can know, like, where do myself and all of that MCoC Illuminati and the Spreadsheet Wizards, how do we feel? What do we think? What is our general advice and the scores we've given to them? This takes a lot of time to produce. I'm so grateful to the Illuminati and Spreadsheet Wizards, and shout out to new Illuminati member, another MCoC Encyclopedia. Go subscribe to this channel. What are you doing? Get better at this game. And then when you're there at the spreadsheet, you can click these links, playlists on my channel, having videos that I and other MC Illuminati and other people have made that I just know are going to be really helpful along the way. All right, we've got a lot to talk to, and I do want to be as quick as I possibly can in this one. So there's a lot to get to. Let's jump to it. We're going to go straight to Mystic. We'll talk about the first new champion that we're going to talk about today in Spiral. She's great, definitely designed to beat up Serpent. She doesn't embarrass Serpent. I love this, right? I love this. We've talked about this a lot on this channel. The designer did a fantastic and phenomenal, is going to make it into one word, job of making sure she's good for Serpent, can take him in a lot of different ways. But when I tested her in her non-target matchups, if I played her well, she has a little bit of, like, you want to do your combos a very specific way, your animation a certain way with, like, the block and the dodge and the move back and all that. But if you do that, you can keep her at a very high ramp, get really good results. I think she's actually going to definitely be enforced in Battlegrounds outside of just being a Serpent counter. So that's a really big deal. And now we've got her with the Awakened emoji, but you need to really make sure you dive down into this tier list, guys. We've put a lot of work into this. It is different, and that's why it's so good. Or one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, right? Is that we've rated her as if she is Awakened. It does not mean that she needs to be Awakened. She would still be very highly rated without Awakened. But her Awakened ability allows her to take hazard shift fights. The designer specifically calls us out in the nodes. And it's shock, incinerate, and poison. That is a significant amount. It's reducing the durations of those, so it's not a resistance or an immunity. That would be pretty bonkers. But this is going to open up fights that you can take her on, and also take Serpent with her on, even if those threats are coming, if you have her Awakened and at a high sig. If you don't, you still have a phenomenal champion. Moving on, we're going to talk about Rincha. Now, we've all been told, based on the post, that 7-star Rincha is coming, and immediately got a boost. Myself and the Illuminati, we're like, meta score has to go up. The way we define meta is like, what is the game throwing at us? What is this actually going to help you handle, right? Not a specific meta in Battlegrounds or in Alliance War, but just in general, the threats that are being thrown at us by the defenders and the nodes and things like that Kabam is putting out. Rincha, by virtue of being a 7-star, will now be able to take them, where the 6-star was starting to struggle a little bit, right? And we're talking about advising people in their rank ups and getting the most bang for their buck with their resources. We all want that, right? We all want that. Well, 7-star Rincha and their Battleground score went up. You'll see that when we update the best champions in Battlegrounds here in a week. His Rincha is back up to a 9 out of 10 and a dual threat, because he's a defensive leaning dual threat for sure. That health pool is massive. There are mechanics in Rincha's kit that if you don't just have a shutdown counter, you have to play around. That combined with health pool is going to cause a lot of problems. And then remember, if Rincha crits, can absolutely decimate an opponent on attack. 7-star, going to have that 7-star crit focus, crit stat focus. Very much up there. This is a champion that I will definitely be wanting for a good dual threat, defensive leaning Battlegrounds champion. All right, and then we can just quickly talk about Shathra and Mordo. I have recently pulled, you saw that he was in the Crystal Cornucopia video. And then today, I may have awakened her. I'm not going to spoil my opening anymore, because hopefully you guys watch that. If you can catch the stream, you'll catch it on the edited down version. I'll get out in a day or two. She's great. I remember love Loved playing her in the new champion video when I was testing her in CCP. I actually really think she's a scorching tier champion, but we always try to start out very conservative. Let you know how good we think Spiral is going to be. Shasha's making a dent in Battlegrounds with that power steal. That is phenomenal. Great for Maestro. Very good for Serpent as well. And it feels like the power steal is going to help her out be very solid for a lot of other matchups and depending on the meta and that sort of thing. She's great. Like I said, though, we need to move through. And then Mordo. Mordo, I'm calling out because the Battleground score keeps going up. Like TC on my Discord server and others, some other high skill chats I'm in online, keep showing shots of Mordo just doing amazing things. Sometimes you're intercepting your special though and stuff. It takes a very high skill to play him that way. And then of course he does have some defensive threat as well. Has a nice, I believe it's called the Soul Barb off of the SB2. My girl Kushala kind of stole a little bit of his game there, but Mordo with those Furies and things, if you can get those going, you can be hitting extremely hard. This is a good champion. I think this is about right for him as far as like advising rank ups, battlegrounds, war, general questing usage and things like that. But I did at least want to call up, we're aware of it. I've seen it. I appreciate everyone who shared all that knowledge. And we are now reflecting it to about where I think he really should be ranked as far as a general tier list is concerned. Keep an eye on him as he keeps moving up the Battlegrounds tier list. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Mutant. Moving on to Mutant, we just have the new champion we're talking about as far as changes, right? Moves up, down, the whole thing. You can see everyone stayed consistent from October. The change is now Dazzler. Now, the embargo is not up on her, so I can't show you gameplay, right? But I can talk about her a little bit, and I do want to get this out because we know the Battle Pass is coming and stuff. I will absolutely be getting the Battle Pass. Additionally, I was so happy to get, I think I chose it from the selector, was the Mutant Awakening gem. And I also took a Mutant 2-3 because it is all going to Dazzler. She is, unless I discover something new, which there's always a chance, wait until you actually see it happen. But it would have to be discovering something new. My favorite competitive mode of the game is Battlegrounds. I also fun, right? And I'll be going over all that in the top 10. So make sure you pay attention to the top 10s for myself and the Illuminati this December. She is great. She's going to be very good in Battlegrounds. She's going to be fast. You do have to play her with some high skill. There's some inputs you need to do on her special 1 and her special 2, if I remember correctly. They're not that bad. I think you can get them. I found them more intuitive and more easy to get than Viv Visions, and a lot of people have gotten Viv Visions down. Again, this is similar to Spiral. You really need to want to make sure you understand what the emojis are saying here, right? Like the star is saying ranking depends on the awakened ability, not that she needs it. Now, I want to tell you what it is with her is during her hits, Dazzler takes up to no physical damage. So right there, and that's just 1. That's just Sig 1. You are not taking, that's like Thorns, from Korg, a Tomb of those sorts of things. It will not help you against, I believe it is, Electro, right? They specifically call out physical damage. So keep that in mind. This isn't the same exact thing as Namor. But then this can scale up with the Sig. And instead of taking that damage, she can reflect 200% of it back at the damage at the opponent as burst of energy damage. So Korg, Atuma, Killmonger. This, in my opinion, this might be the mutant that comes on and dominates the skill class, the way a lot of you want a Negasonic Teenage Warrior to be, okay? Now, NTW is still good. You can see how highly we have her rated. She's very good at it. But I think Dazzler might be the way you were hoping it would happen. She's great. She's phenomenal. Performing a Dazzling Dash grants a pursuit passive for 10 seconds, pause until the end of the dash. I'm not going to spend too much time going into like what the Dazzling Dash is and the pursuit passive, but that is also going to be incredibly helpful. I think you're really going to want that. There's a reason why I'm going to get the Battle Pass. There's a reason why I got the Awakening Gem, and there's a reason why I'm going to be rank 3ing her as soon as I possibly can. Really big fan of Dazzler, and you can see the rest of the Mutant class. Let's go ahead and move on to Science. Moving on to Science, like a banger class, right? Like one of the hardest things about scoring them is meta, because so many of them are so good at so many of the things that they are being asked to do that it's hard to say like someone is like a 5 out of 5 in meta when there's like 3 other Science champions who could kind of do it too. I love that about the game though. It's part of why the game doesn't feel like you have to have a certain champion. So I want to make it clear that is not a complaint about the Science chat. In fact, it's actually a compliment about the Science class. They're very good. It's really awesome. You can kind of pick who you enjoy, which we'll get to when we get to Count Nefaria. Luke Cage was this close, 1 point from being in the tier above all. We have updated his Battleground score, which we continue to show, and I continue to show on my channel, but we continue to show it in the Battleground tier list. Additionally, his war score has gone up. The guy does all of that and is bleed immune, and he's just so insanely relevant. Like, hopefully MCoC Encyclopedia does another tier list. I think he said he might do it in December. One of the things I really enjoy about his tier list, he talks about like how good is the champion generically, and then how good are they, how often are they good. It's really great. It feels like a different take on what we're doing here with this, with the different mode evaluation and things like that. Luke Cage and what he does right now is being asked for over and over and over and over again through defenders and nodes. I don't think it's something that's going to just like go away one day. I think it's a present thing in the game because so much of it is power game. We talk about this and why America Chavez is so insanely valuable in this game. He also just can go indestructible. I just put out the video. I called it The Book of Luke because it's a fun thing we've been doing on my Discord. Thank you, Jaeger, for getting it started. The first one, the first prophet of Luke, right? And so get out there, have fun, rank up your Luke Cage. I think the community has fully accepted how great he is, but if not, check out this playlist and enjoy, because there's a chance you got a Luke Cage on your roster. A lot of people have told me that in the comments. Scorpion, this is the exact opposite of what we talked about with Rintra today, and it kind of stinks a little bit, but I get it. There's so many amazing science champions. I had fun with my Scorpion. If you're still coming up and you're looking for 6 stars to rank, right? I did the best 6 stars to rank video this month. We do that every other month because it is a different framing of the topic. I would actually still say Scorpion, right? Get him ranked up and ascended and all that stuff because he's still very good. You see how high we have him rated. But as a general champion, and we rate every champion at their highest rank and rarity in the game, because that's just the most baseline way we can do this. And then we're giving out rank up advice. I would tell you to rank 7-star Titania over 6-star Scorpion. So that's the practical application of this. Scorpion's falling down because he's just not being used as much because he's a 6-star punching up. He does have the synergy with Venom, which is incredibly helpful and part of why we probably won't see him as a 7-star for a very long time. But we're not seeing him in Battlegrounds as much. We're not seeing him in his war as much. He's still the same incredibly versatile champion. But like we're saying with Luke Cage, what he can do is not being asked for as much, or there are 7 stars available who can do it. So we're reflecting that as we will continue to do. And much like Rintra, if 7-star Scorpion comes out, I mean, we'll see what the game looks like when he comes out, because it might be a few years still. If he came out tomorrow, literally shoots back to tier above all in conversation with Titania for the best science champion in the game. Moving on to Count Nefaria, this champion is the epitome of, some people are going to tell you he's the best champion in the game, and others like me are going to tell you he's around the top 10, top 15. And they're both right. They are both right. I think there's a way of looking at Nefaria where you could rank him higher. I fully see that, and there's people in the Illuminati who feel that way. And there's other people in the Illuminati who feel a little more closely to what I do. Is like, yeah, he's great. And with the power gain and the heal matchups, he just pops off. But you do need to be concerned about unfazed, and that's in war and in Battlegrounds where you're often wanting a champion that can handle those incredibly difficult things for you. But additionally, you need to be able to like parry or well-timed block the last hit of a special and punish it. And that's an animation issue. Like, it's a skill thing that you got to get down. And then there's going to be animations that you just not do it on. And we don't have control over like what comes out in the future. And so for me, I feel very strong. Like, if you enjoy playing him, if you like that and you're comfortable, I don't think he's niche. I want to be abundantly clear because I could see that argument feel like it's leading to me saying he's a niche champion. I don't think he's niche. I think he's too powerful, and he's too powerful in a variety of scenarios, and there are skilled ways to get around it, that he is more well-rounded than that. But for me, and you'll see this when I do my top 10s, I've even got like a SIG 80, and I'll continue to play him and test him, and I see the power. But for me, there's other champions that are more valuable. I think he's going to constantly just be this. There's going to be people who are reasonably say he's better than we have him ranked, and there's people who are going to reasonably say he's worse than we have him ranked. This is very much just like, what challenges in the game do you feel like dealing with in order to use a champion? It's as simple as that. Spider-Punk, I recently took mine to rank 3. I did get a video out on him. He's great. The buff was great. He's very usable in Battlegrounds now. Is he as fast as Silk? Absolutely not. Is anyone as fast as Silk? Absolutely not. He's got a ton of uses. He has good enough utility. He can control a fight phenomenally well. Literally today on Cyber Weekend, going over the deals, I showed him at SIG 80, and that gets him, I think it was almost a 73% chance to start placing that rupture. I'd have to get all the way to Sig 200 in order to get a 100% chance. I don't see a near future where I'm putting new Sig stones into him, because I'm already at 73% chance with 80. So for 120 Sig stones, I'm only increasing it by like 27%. And that's not a knock on him. That's just that has changed. His buff has changed enough. I do not think the conversation being led with he's got to be at Sig 200 makes sense. I just don't think it does. He's really, really good. If you've got him, check him out. All right, let's go ahead and move on to tech. In tech, the only champion that has a new score is actually Ironheart. She's received a promotion. A lot of this is coming from her use in war. We talked at length about, is it just the meta, the tactic that's increasing? And it was like, no, really not. There's a lot of flexibility in this champion. Remember, she has those shifting damage sources that you can pick based on the fight. Is similar to Scorpion, which is great. I remember it was something we were all very excited about, like when the deep dives and things came out. And then she also has that tracking. Miss is a thing. It's continued to be in the game. I call it like the big three defensive is auto block, miss, and evade. I do think miss is up there now as far as something that we're being thrown in the game via falter or just miss mechanics that are available. She can handle that. I think those things combined with the rest of her kit and the way she does her damage work. And it does make sense, especially if you're interested in war or like general questing. She's not that fast, okay? I'm not trying to tell you she is. It's why you see her appropriately, in my opinion, ranked in our Battlegrounds tier list. But this game is not just about Battlegrounds, and that's why we have more than one tier list. This game is about questing, it's about EOP, it's about war, it's about the whole thing. So, and she is very, very good in all of that. And honestly, you could use her in Battlegrounds, just maybe not Celestial, and that's only like 100 players. So she's worth it. I'm glad we put her up there. We actually had her up there for quite a while. I'll admit, and what you're probably hearing my voice is like, I'm not a massive fan, but that's because the PvP mode I play is Battlegrounds. I left Tier War a while ago. So a champion like her, when I'm looking to use my rank up resources, I'm not reaching for her the same way I would be if I was playing Tier 1 War. If I was playing Tier 1 War, I think I have a 660 Ironheart. I almost guarantee she is someone I'd be looking to rank up very, very soon. She's great. So there we go. Let's go ahead and move on to skill. Moving on to the skill class, we actually have no changes for this month. The one thing I'll talk about, and we talked about this at length in the best 6 stars rank, best 7 stars rank, that sort of thing, is that skill is in an interesting place in that as far as our tier list is concerned, none of the highest tier is available as a 7-star, and I think it's going to be a while. I have a little hope for Kingpin coming soon, especially with the way they updated the way his SP1 and the ability accuracy is actually working in game. That might be some motivated wishing there, though, right? Nothing else they've done has led me to believe that they're coming out with 7-star Kingpin anytime soon. The really cool thing, though, is you see how thick, basically, like how big that scorching tier is. Skill is very, very strong. I think every single one of those champions is available as a 7-star, except for Valkyrie. So there's a lot there. And even Atuma, I shout him out as much as I can. He really can do things offensively. He's got like the True Strike off the SP1, I believe it is. I think it's True Strike, but it's off the SP1, handling evade for you. The way he interacts with ability accuracy as far as like reversing it, the only champion in the game that can do that, and a very, very good defender. So someone I look to sometimes put some 6 zones into. I think even with Dazzler and NTW in the game, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, the skill class and those damage mechanics and those defenders, they're not erased. They just absolutely aren't. I'm still very happy I have my Atuma at rank 3, and I still might actually put 6 zones into them if Crossbones or someone else doesn't come by and demands them very, very soon. That is the skill class. Let's go ahead and look at Cosmic. All right, Cosmic is very similar to skill. We've talked about these in the other videos this month as well, and that the tier above all, I just don't see him coming to 7 stars anytime soon. I have hope for Hulkling, but he's also the highest rated, which is pretty crazy because the highs of CGR and Hercules often rank out. But really, Hulkling's just a dual threat in Battlegrounds and so good in War still. The immunities and that whole thing. So that makes a lot of sense. But similar to skill, the Scorching tier is just chock full of a variety of champions that do different things, are all very good in various modes. So I really like that. I'm particularly hopeful of pulling a Medusa from those crystals that'll be coming out in December. I think as of right now, she is my most wanted pull. I don't know all the buffs, and we haven't been able to test them all yet, so we don't know exactly who it is. Although, like I said in my prediction video, I'm pretty much positive it is Deadpool Weapon X and Sentinel. You could check out that video. It's really good. We had a lot of fun with it. And Serpent, of course, remember, he does have long form use too. He's not just a Battlegrounds defender. So a lot of that scoring is raised on him as an attacker. The only portion of it that has some defensive value added in is in his battleground score, where he's there as a defender that has sometimes offensive use. I know I've used him for future Ant-Mans, and I actually used him once for a Domino. Don't suggest it, but that's the way the draft went and the way the matchup went and worked it. Scream is still a relatively new champion. I want to see more. Some of those highs are going to be pretty insane. I could see her getting promoted as well too. So that is the tier list for November. Now, let me know. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do one in December, which for the last, I think, like 4 years, I have not, because we've been doing the top 10s. We're doing something a little bit. I'm continuing to learn from those top 10s. They're always a lot of fun to make, but I do read the comments. I talk to everyone on Discord and go through it. Myself and the Illuminati are doing something I think you guys are really going to like. It's still going to be incredibly informative as far as like what we each think as far as the true top 10s, but I think it's going to give you a little more insight into how much top players don't necessarily agree, and how much of that is based on which modes we're interested in. And to show you, like, this game is huge and it is complex. And so when we have a champion of Scorching versus Super Hot, we're not saying Super Hot sucks. What we're saying is like, based on all of our scores put together and the variety of ways that we are playing this game, here's our experience. And that's why I even tell you, champions in the hot tier, even sometimes in the mild tier, they can do things. They can do quests for you. They can help you clear content. It's just the farther you move to the left side of the screen, the more likely that champion is to cover more content or be super powerful in some meaningful content. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Keep an eye out for those top 10s in December. They're going to be an absolute blast. And then if you're like, hey, I want to know about Awakening, I want to know about the best 7-star, about 6-star string, I just did all that. They've all been updated. We got every other month. You all let me know. That's about a good cadence to get those formats out, because it is a different formatting, like we talked about with Scorpion. We demoted Scorpion slightly, still a phenomenal champion, but in my opinion, one of the best 6 stars to rank up. It's a bit the nuanced way we approach this game, and it's worked out extremely well for over 4 years. I love doing this. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.